Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and continue.
That's what.
Yeah, but sir, there's also a different kind of question that arised. So
Yes,
I've
yes.
been, in this self-discovery process for a while, and while I was in that process, I found that okay, this is what I need. This is something I want to be. And when I've been there, when I've done that, I realized that no, this is not what I wanted in the first place, and that
That's not just all right. That's actually great. Sorry, I forgot your name, please.
Samarth.
Samarth. Samarth, that's just great. See, youth is the time to experiment and make mistakes. Didn't I say that the stuff that you will list down in your priority list will never be absolutely perfect? There would always be something higher, something better that remains yet undisclosed and hidden. But that's the thing. The process of learning is like going up a staircase, right? You keep your foot on the next step, on the next rung, and only then you discover how to move to the one beyond that, like a dimly lit staircase, right? You cannot look too far ahead of yourself. Only when you move ahead do you discover what lies further ahead. Correct? So that really cannot even be called a mistake, Samarth. With an open mind, with an inquisitive mind, you try something out. And if that attempt reveals to you that this is not the ultimate thing I'm looking for, then at least you have been able to strike out something from the list of available options, right?
Great perspective right there. I would say it's a mistake and it's fine. We all make mistakes, and the ultimate thing about a mistake though is to learn from it. But I like how he switched it up to like an optimistic point of view where he's saying, no, that's not, you don't even want to call it a mistake. That's a great success because you figured out something that you don't like. I love that perspective. Very optimistic. But it's true though. It's absolutely true. You know, and him talking about while you're young, you're going to be making mistakes reminds me of, I guess, an investment strategy or something like that. That's a financial YouTubers say. It's the fact that while you're young, you generally take higher risk in your investments because you're young. You're still working. You can make money. You can make the money back because you maybe invest in a little bit more risky investments in terms of whatever you're investing into, like a new company or whatever it may be, because you never know. Remember when Amazon was literally an online bookstore? You could invest in Amazon, and look at Amazon now, or any other company out there, um, or Google. But yeah, you take risks. You can end up losing that money, but you're still young. You can make mistakes, but be careful as you get older. As you get older, obviously you take less and less risk. But hopefully at that point you kind of figure out what you want to do.
And that's not a mean thing. That's a blessing. To know clearly that this is not what you want. In Vedanta, that's the process of niti neti. The ultimate process of negation. To know what the truth is not. And it's not just about Vedanta enough. Even if you go to the ancient Greeks or to the more contemporary Western philosophers, the highest among them have said that the truth can be approached only via negation. It is not possible to go to the truth with your established set of internal affirmations. Because all affirmations are just the ego. Inquiry can at most result in negation. It's ego that results in affirmation.
Interesting.
So the process has to be of negation, which is okay. With an honest intent, you tried something out, it didn't work out, you haven't failed. It's not a disappointment. And if that's a disappointment, then I have failed all my life. Because my entire journey has been of trying things out and then moving on. And there's a beauty to that. There is a beauty to not settling down at the wrong place. There is a beauty in having the courage to move on, even if that place beckons you via attachment, via relationships, via memories, adjustment and habit. Once you have been with something, all these things keep you in bondage via a certain stickiness, don't they? You want to stay there just because you have stayed there for long. No, move on. Once you know that a certain thing has yielded to you all that it could, honesty demands that you try out something higher, because the purpose of life is learning, a constant movement. You are not born to stagnate. There is no point called the final one. There is just no possibility of you ever becoming saturated with knowledge or realization. The potential to be bigger and better and more fulfilled and more joyful will remain right till your last breath. Are you getting it? And these things should never be considered as failures. Somebody who has settled down and made a home at some ordinary place, as most commoners do, as most worldly men do, cannot be called successful. Far more successful than such a person is someone who tried out 1,000 things, out of which nothing succeeded. He was committed to excellence. He was experimenting. He was putting himself at risk. He was not saying that he is a sucker for security and stability and respect. He said, no security, everything is risked, and people will not respect me, the world will call me a failure, all that is okay. My job is to remain a traveler. Read that poem, Ithaka, and at just the most inopportune time, I have forgotten the name of the poet.
I will say this. I think there are many different kinds of successes. I don't think you necessarily have to keep trying out different things once you figure out something that you like. There are people out there who, as long as they have a good job, have a house and a family, that to them is the ultimate success. Someone's success maybe is traveling the world. Some people maybe just, well, I don't know, that's too extremes already. Maybe starting a great business. There are many different successes out there, and absolutely try many different things out until you find out what you consider to be successful. Whether you need to successfully create 10 businesses, or just happy enough to have a job that provides for your family. Those are different kinds of successes, and each individual person determines what is a success to themselves.
Somebody help me, please. Ithaka. It's one of my favorite poems. And I have taught this poem as well. And this is very intimately linked to the question you are raising.
As you set out for Ithaca, hope the voyage is a long one, full of adventure, full of discovery. Whoa, what is that? Lestrygonians and Cyclops. I've not heard that word before. Cyclops and angry Poseidon. Don't be afraid of them. You will never find things like that on your way. As long as you keep your thoughts raised high, as long as a rare excitement stirs in your spirit and your body, that big Lestrygonians and Cyclops, wild Poseidon, you won't encounter them unless you bring them alongside your soul, unless your soul sets them up in front of you. Hope the voyage is a long one. May there be many a summer morning when, with what pleasure, what joy you come into harbor, seen for the first time. May you stop the Phoenicians' trading stations to buy fine things. Mother of pearl and coral, amber and ebony, sensual perfumes in every kind, as many sensual perfumes as you can, every kind as many sensual perfumes as you can, and may you visit many Egyptian cities to gather stores of knowledge from their scholars. Keep Ithaca always in your mind. Arriving there is what you are destined for, but do not hurry to the journey at all. Better if it lasts for years, so long as you're old so you are old by the time you reach the island, wealthy with all you have gained on the way, not expecting Ithaca to make you rich. Ithaca gives you the marvelous journey. Without her, you would not have set out. She has nothing left to give you now. And if you find her poor, Ithaca won't have fooled you. Wise as you will have become, so full of experience, you will have understood by then what these Ithaca means.
Kawafi. Kawafi. Cavafy. Let me quote something from here. So, Ithaca is a place that young people set out to. It's a fabled place. And it's said that if you reach Ithaca, you'll find huge treasures there, and probably even all kinds of excitement and fame and glory and all that. And so Ithaca beckons, attracts. But it is said that it often happens that those who face all the obstacles and manage to reach Ithaca, they don't find anything there.
Mm-hmm.
Most people do not reach Ithaca because there are huge obstacles in the way. Some people indeed do manage. And when they reach there, they find that there is none of that fairy tale stuff there that was promised to them. And to those people, the poet says, and I'll quote from an earlier point. Keep Ithaca always in your mind. Arriving there is what you are destined for. But don't hurry the journey at all. Better if it lasts for years. So you are old by the time you reach the island. Wealthy with all you have gained on the way. Not expecting Ithaca to make you rich. It's the journey that has the riches, not the destination. And you cannot journey if you settle down too quickly.
Yeah, okay.
Ithaca gave you the marvelous journey. Without her, you wouldn't have set out. She has nothing left to give you now. The journey is all that there is. The journey is all that there is. So keep experimenting, keep trying, keep failing. It's okay. It's okay. And if you find her poor, Ithaca wouldn't have fooled you. Wise as you will have become, so full of experience, you'll have understood by then what these Ithacas mean. It should be a compulsory read, especially for young people. With your limited understanding, with your little experience, with your little and half knowledge, still set out, knowing fully well that you do not completely know who you are. You also do not completely know what the world and life are all about. You do not know anything perfectly. Still, you have nothing more than what you currently know, right? At this moment, you have nothing more than what you currently know. And put your finger on, bet on the best that you know of currently. With all your limitations, there is something that you hold as the highest, right? Commit yourself to it. But that commitment has to be conditional, in the sense that if you find something better than that along the way, you say, fine, thank you so much, you brought me till this point. Now I commit myself to that which I find the highest at this point, at this moment. So I'm constantly progressing from one step of the case to the next one, right? I'm not making a house here. I'm not saying I have arrived. I'm not saying my journey has ended. It's an infinite staircase. If at all I have a home, it is in the sky. Is this getting too poetic and abstract, Samarth?
No, sir, it's getting really interesting. So I have this question coming up, sir. So as you talked about self-realization, so how can we balance the journey of finding ourselves if we are, busy pursuing the unending staircase? Yeah.
You will have to explain what is it more specifically.
So, sir, you were talking about you have to find yourself first in the beginning, and then
It's a process. It's a process. Even finding yourself is an unending thing.
Yeah, sir. So now question is that when I'm into these endeavors of doing different things, trying something out, and that, so I'm really concentrated on that thing. So how can I balance meditation and not in just sitting down and doing nothing, really contemplating about life and what I am and what I'm not, that kind of contemplative things.
When you say balance, there have to be two things. So you said probably one thing is that kind of meditation in which you just sit down and contemplate. What is the other thing?
So another one, as I've read, is concentrative meditation, and there are different kinds of the meditations I've read in some books. Yeah.
No, it's not that way.
Yeah.
It's active exploration. It's active learning, which means that it's in your activity that your learning is happening, not in your passive contemplation. I'm not denying the utility of passive contemplation, but then that's not the foremost thing. You see, right now the two of us are not in a passive relationship, right? There is an activity happening, there is an exchange happening, and you attend to it. So do I, and we learn from it. Similarly, the two of us could have been engaged in a tennis match, right? And there is constant activity, rigorous physical activity happening, and you learn in the moment, along the process. That's the nature of life. See, as a young man, you are unlikely to get a long occasion to just sit and meditate. In fact, I'm not really in favor of the kind of meditation that necessitates sitting down. Because if you are leading a really rich life, a vigorous life, a purposeful life, the opportunity to sit down might not really be abundant. You might find that your active day, your rich day, involves 16 out of the 24 hours of the day. How will you eke out the time to meditate in a corner? Equally, meditation is very important. So, what is the kind of meditation then that is needed? You need active meditation. So, even as I speak to you, I am meditative. And even as you listen to me, you are meditative. This is real meditation. You are knowing alongside acting. And this is also more useful because in the middle of your daily action, in your relationship, in your associations, in the way you approach your targets, you discover who you truly are. Let's say you want something. You are engaged in some activity between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m., the peak hours of the day. And you want something, you say, this is my target and that has to be completed till 3 p.m. And you perceive an obstacle. And you succumb to that obstacle. What will that tell you about yourself? That will tell you something very important about yourself, that there sits something inside you that yields to challenges, that surrenders to problems, right? And that can be known only first of all when you confront a problem. If you say that my meditation is limited to the time between 6 and 6:30 a.m., will you ever realize this thing about your inner self? Because between 6 and 6:30 a.m., you are anyway not facing the problem that you faced at 2 p.m. That problem can be encountered only in the middle of hectic activity. So that hectic activity alone can tell you what your real self is like. Otherwise, you can live in your imaginations about yourself. You can say, I'm very brave, very courageous. But when you were faced with a challenge, you got afraid. You retreated. All those aspects of your inner personality get exposed only in real life situations. The kind of meditation in which you have to sit in a corner in solitude, aloof from the world, that's largely an artificial setting, is it not? You have already created an artificial condition. You are saying, I'll be sitting in a corner. Now, is life, real life, about sitting in a corner? In real life, you are in the middle of the worldly flow. But here, in the name of meditation, you have created a corner. Then you say, in my meditation room, there should be no noise. Now, is real life full of noise or not? So that's like practicing for a test match, with, let's say, a tennis ball. How many runs will you secure in the real match? First of all, you are practicing with a tennis ball. Secondly, you have put an under 11 bowler in front of you, that too on a 44-yard pitch. And then you feel very confident that you have scored a century during net practice. That's the usual kind of meditation. You have created a very unreal and artificial condition that you will not get in the real match. In the real match, you will have a hunk coming at you. 22-yard pitch with a proper cricket ball, not a soft ball. So doesn't help. That's the reason why so many people meditate for 20 years, 40 years, and yet get only very marginal benefit. So be immersed in life. Be attentive to whatsoever is happening. Learn even from your mistakes. Know how you are reacting to everything that's around you. A defeat comes, a disappointment comes, see how yourself reacts. Something comes and offers great temptation. A group of people is praising you. A job offer comes your way. some pretty girl has proposed to you. See how something within reacts. See how there is something within that very readily wants to forget the truth. You know, for example, that you're not the tallest guy in your batch. And 3 or 4 random people come and say, wow, this dude is really tall. And you see how something within wants to accept their compliment. You know fully well that you are not the tallest one. And yet you will not refute them on their face. You will not say, sir, please, you are mistaken. There are 24 taller fellows in my batch. Why are you complimenting me on something that I am not? Does that happen? That you quickly refute somebody's compliments? No, that doesn't happen. If praise comes our way, something within us is eager to lap it up. Equally, if someone comes and criticizes us, even if the criticism is real, there is something within us that wants to refute the criticism. Right? Even if that person is speaking as a well-wisher, that fellow still appears as an enemy. Does he not? So you have to observe all these things within you. How suddenly and forcefully disgust arises and opposition arises.
I will say he's absolutely right about that. Again, like I talked about, I think earlier in the last video, is that I try to be aware of my body. And like aware of, like, you know, when I'm sick, like how I feel, what are the symptoms that are coming up. Whenever I hear someone talk, if I get an emotional reaction and I feel like, and I get anger or happiness or whatever, I try to be aware of those things to see, and the reason, and I ask myself, why am I getting this reaction, to see if it's logical or if it makes sense or is justified. Because obviously, like you said there, whenever you get a criticism, you do feel threatened or attacked. And while that should not be your initial reaction. Your initial reaction should be of curiosity and listening, being open to criticism to see if the criticism is legit, is beneficial to you. Because there are people out there who will criticize you, but generally speaking, to give you good hints. But obviously there's a lot more a-holes out there. But yes, absolutely, and this is something I've done before too, where I try to pay attention to whenever emotion, thoughts, or whatever arises, I question it.
Without even your consciousness, a reaction happens within. These are the things to be observed. That's real meditativeness. And that can happen only in the flow of life. The real thing is not victory. Obviously, even defeat is not the real thing. The real thing is observing what victory and defeat mean to this one sitting inside. Because that's who you are.
Interesting.
And the purification and sublimation of that is the very purpose of life. We don't live in the world, we live within ourselves, don't we? Apparently we live in the world. You say, I live in my house, I'm sitting in my classroom. But the fact is, we all live here, within ourselves. So that's where we are. So if we have to improve ourselves, that's where the improvement is. And you cannot improve that because the eyes are unable to look at that. The eyes look only at the world. So that inner thing can be seen only in your reactions, only in your relationships, only in your thoughts and emotions and how they get provoked. You observe them. Impartially, you look at this thing called the self. That's self-observation. That's also meditativeness. And that's the entire thing in life. Again,
That answered my
have
question.
I drifted too far away from what you wanted?
No, sir. It was really informative. I even wanted to ask these kind of questions to you.
I'm glad.
That was really an eye-opening session. So thank you so much.
I was gonna say, yeah, it drifted from short reels to short attention spans. Like, did it drift like kind of far away, but it's still informative.
So I have a follow-up question.
Sure.
I wanted to ask that YouTube videos full of information get lesser views. On the other hand, YouTube videos full of entertainment get more views. So my question is, isn't it justified to the content creators to upload videos which get more views?
Let me rewind that.
Creators to upload videos which get more views?
That's all determined by the creator's intent. I could, like, hey look, I know my videos don't get a lot of views, and I'm fine with that. And I know there are other videos out there that can get a lot of views, but I don't want to add that into my channel. I did a few things prior to doing these videos, but I really like these videos a lot. That's the reason why I stuck with them, because these things are really good and informative and actually very helpful. So I stuck with this just because I actually this is the thing that I wouldn't say that I want to do. It's not a one-to-one. It's getting information that's very helpful and kind of sharing that information is what I really want to do. I think that's what I like in life. And this is very close to it, if not it. I don't know if it is it, but I think it is. I'm not too sure. But either way, I'm sticking to it because I really like it. But of course, I want to do other things as well, and I am. And I'll do those things separately. But it's all the intent of the creator. If you want more views, you can do that. There's no guarantees. Nothing's guaranteed that you're going to get more views. But you can do a mixture of both, where it can be informative. Excuse me. All the liquid I've been drinking. It can be informative and entertaining at the same time. That's like a teaching strategy actually for teachers. Keeping the children's attention, being entertaining and informative at the same time. You can do that. That's what actually gets a lot of people watching these videos. I watch example is I watch this guy called Project Farms. He does a lot of testing of tools, oil, lubricants, and anything mechanical related basically. And while it's not exactly, I would say, entertaining, but it is entertaining and informative to me. And he gets a lot of views because a lot of people are looking for information, like what's the best of this and what's the best of that. And he does it in such a way that's very informative and still very straight to the point. It's not a lot of fluff in it, and it's very good information that he gives out there too. And it's just also very entertaining to watch to a degree.
And if it is so, then why do we criticize them?
What do you mean
Because
by
they are doing their job.
Shubhra, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
Shubhra, what do you mean by justification? So let's say you are a video uploader. What do you mean by justification?
So I myself am a content creator.
Oh, you are. Good.
And yes, and I just meant to say that justified is like why when we are uploading videos full of entertainment, we are getting criticisms. So it's not justified to the content creators because they are getting views from that.
No, I understand. But as a content creator, the word creator is such an important word. A creator is an artist. A creator is the highest function one can perform. Creator. So, do you create for views and views only?
No. So I wanted to tell you one more thing. When I started to upload videos in Bhagavad Gita, I uploaded videos of so many verses of Bhagavad Gita, and I talked, like, it was very useful and informative, but I got lesser views. But when I started to show people some big institutions and made vlogs that this is Hindu college, that is Hansraj college, so that those videos got so many views. So isn't it justified to me that I would upload those videos and not just...
I'll go back to that same word, justification. The word justice means setting something right. So justification has to be related to the rightness of something. So I'm somebody who uploads videos, let's say. right? Is it just for the sake of getting a particular number of views? I'll share a few other concerns with you. Who are these people who are watching my videos? 1 lakh people watching a particular video might be much more important than 10 lakh people watching some other video if the quality of these 1 lakh is far superior. That's one concern. Second, what is the impact of my video on the 10 lakh people who watch it? Are these things not important when it comes to justification? Unfortunately, YouTube will only show you the aggregate number of views. It will not tell you the quality of your audience, though that can be known through some indirect matrices that can be kind of judged. What is the quality of people who watch your video? You can, for example, look at the quality of comments. You can also look at some numbers in your dashboard, and you will come to know what approximately is the composition of your audience, where are they coming from, and all those things.
Man, I didn't think this was getting into a YouTube studio training. It's like, okay, I need to go do this and this.
You can also see what are the other videos and channels that your audience watches. That too is available to be seen in the dashboard. And you will realize that this is where my people are coming from. Now, is that not a source of satisfaction or dissatisfaction? What would you rather have? 2 great friends or a group of 20 hooligans?
Friends.
That's what. Now tell me, what is justified, 2 or 20?
So 2.
So that's what. Quality is more important than quantity. You go, for example, to J. Krishnamurthy's channel, and several videos there, probably most videos there, will not have even 1 lakh views. And you can go to the channels of the biggest YouTubers, and you know the kind of content there. So it is obvious that the number of followers or likes can only be of secondary importance. The first thing is something else. The artist is first of all accountable to herself, right? When you look at what you have created, first of all, you must be able to feel a certain pride. Or is it better to be ashamed of what you have created, though your video is awash with views? Your video has 2 million views, and you cannot bear to look at your own video. Would you want to be in that situation? Unfortunately, that's the situation most people are in. Most of these so-called content creators cannot tolerate their own videos. It's just that the quality of the audience is so poor that the more mediocre and vulgar your video is, the more views it's likely to fetch. Don't get into that. Remember, 2 is bigger than 20. Quality matters. And also there is no need to be cynical, Shubhra. It's not that the world is totally empty of good people. They are not in a majority, we concede. But it's not as if good people are nowhere to be found. We all are looking for a rarity, are we not? We are not looking for the majority. At no point do you look for the majority. You are enrolled in a great college, a good course probably, and you would have seen only a tiny minority gaining admission to your course. I do not know the details, I'm speculating. So out of 1,000 people who would have applied, let's say no more than 10, 20, 50 would have gained admission. That's what would have happened, right? So would you want to be with the minority or the majority?
A bit of a different context here, though. I will say this. I understand what it's trying to say. You want to have few loyal, good followers that will watch your content all the time versus getting random rotation of millions of views to thousands of views and millions of views to thousands of views just because you did something different. Now, the people who are originally watching your content don't watch it because they don't like that. You know, it's best to have a small number of consistent views versus spikes and dips and spikes and dips. Consistency, in a sense. Because your hooligan friends, they're not consistent. But your two good friends are going to be consistent with you. While obviously in the entertainment industry, you know, numbers matters the most. And they're not going to care where those numbers come from. But yeah, I completely get what he's trying to say and what's trying to say to her. Because you do want to do good content. You want to make sure that you want to attract people that, it's really weird to say, that have the similar values as you, or that likes your content the way it is. Because the reason why I say it's weird is just because you don't want to put yourself in a bubble. You know, you want to hopefully reach out to people who have different views from you and hopefully either convince them of your views and then they have similar views to you, which that's really weird to say, but hopefully it's because your views are correct and right and they see the error of their ways, or maybe they say, that's an interesting point of view, I'll have these two views to go with, to use the rest of my life, you know, something along those lines, or incorporate your views and their views together and have an amalgamated view world where they incorporate what's needed at the time, which is actually a lot better.
Remember, the majority was denied admission. Remember, the majority was denied admission. It's the minority always that is important. It's the minority that matters, and it's that rarity, not the abundance, that we all are looking for. You will want to pursue a career. Will you want to take up any kind of job that comes your way, or will you be selective and choosy?
Selective.
So that's it. You want that one among the 10. And 9 out of 10 are always fit to be just rejected. Right? You will probably choose a friend or a partner at some point. You might already, we all are making friends since we are kids. Do you make friends with just about anybody? Or are you quite choosy in that? You want to say, my fellow is hazaron mein ek. 1 in 1,000, right? That's what you want for yourself. Then why don't you want the same thing for your video? You should actively wish that 999 out of 1,000 people refuse your video. Because your video too has to be 1 in 1,000. In some sense, it can be a reason to celebrate if only worthy people watch your videos. Let your video be the touchstone of worthiness. You should be able to say, not everyone comes to my channel. Only very special people come to my channel. I do not mean to say that you should consciously avoid getting views. No, that's not the assertion. The point I'm trying to make is, it's not crowds that you should be after. It's quality you should pursue. And if you are pursuing quality, remember that good people exist even though they are in a minority. You'll get sufficient number of views. You'll get a good quality audience to be with. And that's a great pleasure to have in life, the company of good people. No?
Right, sir. Thank you so much.
Now I don't necessarily know if I agree with the what is it? What is it? Getting a lot of people to watch our videos, getting a lot of views. There's a method. What do they call the shotgun method, where if YouTube were to distribute your video to everyone, and everyone, like 1 million people watch it, while you're not being selective there, but hopefully you can get the attentions of the people that really do want to watch your videos by them sharing. Sure, you're going to get a whole bunch of people that will reject your videos, but you also, because you're out there now, that you have a chance of attracting people who are actually interested in your video. So I'd say that. I know what I think I know what Acharya is trying to say. Is the fact that you want to attract the people that are attracted to your videos, but the only way to kind of get that if the YouTube algorithm shows your stuff, or or if the YouTube algorithm exactly just shows your stuff and then shows it to millions of people. Just throw it out there, and hopefully you catch a few people that watch your video. And out of all the people that you caught to watch your video, some of those are going to be the ones that are going to subscribe to your channel. The other ones are just going to reject your channel. But at least it's out there for people to watch, view, and see if that's something that they like. So you want to constantly broadcast your stuff. Like you're like throwing a net to catch fish, I guess. And eventually some will be caught in a net that you want to keep. Kind of like that. Anyways, interesting. Got a little bit of lesson in the YouTube studio. Might want to go check that out real quick. I have checked it out to see where my audience is. I kind of want to check it out again just to see if anything has changed since last time I checked, which was quite some time ago. Anyways, that's my reaction to short reels and short attention spans. Acharya Prashant. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.